Greetings, everyone. Honor to you all. Honor to everyone that will be watching this. Honor to everyone that will be joining. I say honor, respect, and much love to you all. Hope all is well with you all, and you know, just hope that you are being guided and protected by the Most High, and your loved ones and your family members are all well, and that you are all well. And I say welcome, welcome, everyone. I'm still waiting to see if the notifications is being sent out, which is not showing that it is. Okay, I think it is now a minute into the live. All right. So with that being said, welcome everyone. Original Lone Wolf, Sean Allen. I am Q. Brother Corey Sly. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me fix something up real quick. Real quick. Okay. I did do the upload of um 1 to 4 of the Stanley Plotkin disposition. I did the upload of 3 and 4, I believe, yesterday. All right. Like I said, I was gonna do. So I have 4 parts already up on the podcast. On the podcast. So for those who did not get a chance to listen to it, it's on the podcast. And the reason why I'm doing these uploads before I drop anything um, on the COVID thing is so that you guys can take notes. It's 12 parts to it. Take notes because a lot of what I'm going to break down is going to come from that disposition, that deposition. I call it disposition, that deposition. So it's important because within that deposition, he revealed a lot. And you're going to see that he along with Robert Gallo and Robert Redfield, which is the um the coordinator for the CDC, the head coordinator, Fauci's boss, right? Um, you'll see that they are the godfathers of the pharmaceutical industry. And majority of the vaccines that they've ever dealt with or deal with, that they were pretty much tested in indigenous communities or countries of indigenous people. Um, we're just here to present the information, and we'll leave it up to everyone to make up their own mind as to what they feel is going on, right? Um, so if there's any breakups within this stream or anything like that, you guys know I'm being shadow banned. So every time I log on, someone logs on with me, and they're ghosting me in the thing. So they tamper with the feed and these things. So it shows me when the person logs in that the person is logged in. It shows me every time because it shows that I have 2 people in on the panel. You just can't see the other person. All right, so they're in here, but we'll still keep it going, and it goes. You know what I mean? Now, let me put the link to the podcast also in here for y'all, so that you guys have it. All right, so just to show you guys 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the hidden hand of the pharmaceutical industry. The deposition for Stanley Plotkin, right, which is one of the godfathers of the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, and we have quite a few stuff so far on the platform, and more coming because it's 12 parts to it. Okay. Here is the link to the podcast. Again, right now with the podcast, we're just dealing with recordings. And that's what we're dealing with right now with the podcast is audio recordings. And then we will build it to the level where we can do live streams off of the podcast. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, so this year, has anyone heard any mention of the flu at all? At all? None. Everything has been COVID, right? And as we see in Israel, you can't go grocery shopping unless you have been vaccinated or have done a test saying that you don't have COVID, and you have to have it documented on your phone, or you have to have it on an ID card or on your real ID. This is why they were pushing the Real ID Act a few years ago, because they knew everything is planned, people. Everything is pre-planned. So they knew what was coming. And people say, no, it wasn't all pre-planned. It is pre-planned because all these companies are one and the same. That goes from the CDC to all these pharmaceutical companies to Facebook to these big media companies, the mainstream media. They're one and the same. The whole thing is one big conflict of interest. Okay? This is why when certain platforms or people are speaking out and doctors are speaking out and you're like, I can't find it because they're erasing it because it's one mega corporation and they pretty much have everything in their back pocket, right? So, and we're going to show you. We're not just going to talk about it, right? But no one heard no mention of the flu this year. So it hit me. Matter of fact, let me tell you why I even started. I just started digging this stuff up, right? Well, not just started. It's something that I've been did. And at one time, like, I don't even want to bother with it. And I deleted everything. I was just like, screw it. But I was having a conversation with a lady friend of mine, and she's an emergency room nurse. And we was talking about back when my sister was about to deliver, and I gave her a document to bring in to the hospital for full disclosure of any form of medication, any form of treatment that they're going to give her. They must give her full disclosure on it and sign off on the document. And she was like, if it was her, she wouldn't sign off on the document. Now, this is an emergency room nurse. And the reason why she wouldn't sign off because she don't want to be held liable. But little does she know that whether she signs off on the document or not, if something did happen and you didn't give me full disclosure because it's in your job description, you must give me full disclosure. And I made a decision on something, not knowing the full details of it, you're still held liable, right? So either or, you're held liable. Now, skipping down into the conversation, it was if at one point they didn't even know that vaccines came with ingredients listed. And I'm like, all vaccines come with a list of ingredients that's in the vaccine. And I must have full disclosure on what's in the vaccine that's being administered to me. Right? And they're like, well, they don't know that. I said, well, then you're not competent to do your job if you don't know that. Nor are you competent to take care of patients. And it's the truth. And they said that was a pharmacy. Pharmacy deals with that. Or if they have to go down to the record department to pull up that information, yes, you must know these things. How are you treating people and you don't know these things? You don't know what's in the stuff that you're injecting in people's body. Or, I give it to her. She did say that she don't deal with vaccines. That's not her. That's not the portion of the job that she does. You have other people, I guess, that deals with that, injecting vaccines in people and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're still an emergency room nurse. You're a medical professional. You're supposed to know this stuff. You work in a hospital. They might come with a short staff and they need your help. So you must know this stuff. What comes in that hospital, as far as any type of medicine, one must know these things. Right? I'm saying that to say this. You see a lot of malpractice going on right now, and people are saying it's COVID are killing these people. It's COVID. And when some folks are finding out or seeing so much information now that is showing that these people have backtracked on so much of what they were saying, that they're realizing, okay, it's not COVID. But they're saying, well, if it's not COVID, though, it's something in the air that's killing people. No, it's malpractice. Could you imagine? You went to the hospital because you had the flu. Every symptom that they told you have is flu-like symptoms. But on your documentations, they put COVID. And here they are with a vaccine that's strictly for COVID. And because they put on your documentations COVID, because the hospital receives more funding for each COVID patient that it has diagnosed. And these people are treating you for COVID, but you have the flu. It's malpractice. You're getting wrong treatment for something that you don't even have. You die from it, and they attributed the death to COVID. And people say, but why? Why would they attribute the death to COVID? Because the hospital gets more money. That's a fact. And the pharmaceutical industries have full immunity against any form of criminal charges of murder, even if someone dies also from their vaccine. So they can push out a test vaccine, an experiment out there in the public, and work it on you, and you wouldn't even know that it's an experimental, it's a test vaccine, but you're the victim, right? Or you wouldn't be able to press charges if something goes wrong, vaccine poisoning, these things. You want to be able to do that. And there's a trend, because all these companies are also in cahoots with the judicial system, with branches of the judicial system. You have lawyers and judges that have been working on a bill to give all judges immunity. Have you ever heard of anything like that? They're working on that, I think, right now in Jamaica, what they call Jamaica, corporate name Jamaica, to give judges immunity. People, it's so much stuff going on in front of your face. Sometimes it's hard to keep track because they hit you with so many things at once, but it's all the same thing. And let me show you. What should I start with? Oh gosh. Give me a second, family. I have a little list, and I don't know which one to start with, but I'm going to pick one right now, right? Because let's start with this. Okay, we'll start off with the flu thing. Let's hit this. I'm about to hit the screen share the few. All right. Now this, let me hit the screen share. Give me 1 second. All right. So we have here we're on the CDC website. Okay. And influenza flu. All right. So I was interested because I wanted to know what were the numbers for 2021 for the flu. Right. But a few things came up. So this is the weekly U.S. influenza surveillance report. You know, CDC's tracking the COVID-19 pandemic in a weekly publication called COVID Data Tracker. But what does that have to do with the flu view? We're looking for influenza, and they're pushing in COVID in here. And if people didn't look up the symptoms of COVID and the symptoms of the flu, they're 100% the same thing. There's no difference. And if you want to be the daft one to believe that the flu doesn't cause a loss of taste, yeah, then that's on you. But I know people that lose their sense of taste when they have the flu. Okay? And it's just that it just means that your body is low on something and you need to replenish to get the taste, your sense of taste back. It's nothing major. Then they said stomach cramps and shortness of breath. But the flu gives you that too also as well. Right? And majority of the people out there that they found to have COVID, it was those basic symptoms that I just said back to you is what they gave them or their family members, the family members of the deceased, and said, oh, yeah, it was COVID. At one point, they were saying, well, you could tell the difference between the flu and COVID because if your symptoms get so to COVID, you turn blue. Your face will turn blue and so on. But that happens to people that have the flu too. What about Caucasian folks that change color when they're sick? What about folks who have allergic reactions to certain things and have the flu at the same time? Right? What about these things? But anyway, so we're on the CDC website. Right? So right here it says key updates for week 8, ending February 27th, January 2021. And then we go down here to viruses, clinical labs, percentage of respiratory specimens testing positive for influenza at clinical laboratories is 0.1% this week. Then it has public health labs. The number of influenza positives reported by public health labs remains unusually low. It's unusually low. right? So the flu just went out the window. The flu has amnesia. Okay? It says virus characterization. Influenza virus characterization information will be reported later this season. They're making this shit up. Right? I'm going to give you guys this link. You guys can click on all of this and go read in more detail. It has illnesses, outpatient illness, Illinet. During week 8, 0.9% of patients visit to a healthcare provider were for influenza-like illness. You got to pay attention to the words that influenza-like illness. That's not saying that it's the flu, but it's something like it. You understand? It's something like it. Now, how many of the viruses has the same symptoms as the flu? The common cold, what they now calling COVID-19 that they told you about in the year 2020. Hey, right? So pay attention to how they word these things. During week 8, 0.9% of patient visits to a healthcare provider were for influenza-like illness. Remaining stable, change of 0.1%. That's in parentheses. Compared to week 7, 1%. National ILI remains below the national baseline of 2.6%. Surveillance may be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and should be interpreted with caution. So they're saying, hey, well, because of COVID, the flu numbers are extremely low this year. No one finds that odd? Huh? No one finds that odd. During week 8, all jurisdictions experience minimal activity. Activity levels may be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and should be interpreted with caution. Again. Here we go again. Severe disease, hospitalizations, FluServe, net sites have reported a current cumulative hospitalization rate of 0.7 per 100,000 population. You know how low that is? You know how low that is? And when they told you that last year, COVID only killed 0.1% of the population, people still was in an uproar. Oh, but people are still dying. Oh, I gotta wear my mask. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you, we can't make this stuff up. Right? In the midst of the chaos, and when everything is dying down, they'll start revealing shit to you because they know that a lot of people are too lazy to look and won't go looking. Right? Anyway. Population. In 2011 to 2012, a low severity season, the rate was 2.3 times higher at this time that season. And here we go to the mortality. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys the link and you guys can click on this and go more into it for yourselves. 16.4% of deaths were attributed to pneumonia, influenza, or COVID-19. Or COVID-19. This is above the epidemic threshold of 7.2%. Currently, a majority of PIC deaths are due to COVID-19. But mind you, if anyone ever had pneumonia, you know your chest tightens up and your chest cramps up because your lungs is hurting you so bad. It's hard for you to breathe. Okay? especially for those who had what they call walk-in pneumonia. You know how dangerous that is? All right. Now, pay attention. If you have the flu, chances are you'll get pneumonia. When they're telling you that with COVID, one of the symptoms of COVID is the tightening of the chest and these things, it's pneumonia. So COVID and the flu both has the symptoms of pneumonia. You understand? This is not rocket science, family. It's the same symptoms. So you don't know, they don't know. Let's say they don't know, right? And you pass, you get sick, they just give it to COVID because COVID is the new thing that they've created to push the pharmaceutical industry, because all these companies, all these media outlets, all these things have investments. Their owners also own a lot of pharmaceutical companies, okay? Like the CDC, it is a private corporation. Has nothing to do with the government. They just contracted with the government, but they're a private corporation. Their job is to sell vaccines. That's their job. That's how they make their money. Do you understand? How many of y'all are in the business of sales? And even though you know the merchandise that you're selling to the customer might be a piece of shit, it's your job to convince them that it's the best thing since sliced bread. Selling a car, you check the customer's credit report. Oh, shit. Oh, that's your credit? What? 7.9? What? Oh, credit is good. Oh, 8.0. Oh, I see your credit is excellent. What you going to try to do? You're going to try to get that customer to get the most expensive car. And you start off with the most expensive stuff, knowing that you already have something that you know that they're going to settle for once you throw it out there. It's the same thing with the vaccine, with the pharmaceutical industry and these vaccines. Let's keep going now. Let's see what else they have here. Number of specimens tested. Week 8, 22,242. Cumulative since September 27, 2020, week 40, 693,603. Positive specimens, 32, 0.1%, really. 1,543. Influenza A, 16. It said it's 50%. Right? 533, 34.5%. Influenza B, same thing, but this one it says 1,010, 65%. All right. And you keep going down. Where is it? This is 2020. Let's keep going. There's something that I was reading that was very interesting. Keep going. There we go. Did I lose it? Please don't tell me that I lost it. Pneumonia, influenza. Let's see. Additional. Please don't tell me that I lost it. This might be it. What's this? National Center for Disease Statistics, mortality surveillance based on NCHS mortality surveillance data available on March 4th, 2021. 16.4% of the deaths that occurred during the week ending February 27, 2021, week 8, were due to pneumonia, influenza, and COVID-19. This percentage is above the epidemic threshold of 7.2 for week 8. But you don't hear them talking about the flu, though, right? And this is 2021, okay? You don't hear them talking about the flu. Among 3,531 pick deaths reported for this week, 2,727 had COVID-19 listed as an underlying or contributing cause of death on the death certificate, and 3 listed influenza, indicating that the current increase in pig mortality is due primarily to COVID and not influenza. You don't hear them talking about the flu. Now, underlining. What is underlining? Let's go look up the definition of underlining. Okay. Ugh. Let me see. Underline. Okay. Doesn't you have 16/10% participle adjective from underlie? Let's see, underlie. Underlie. To be subordinate, to submit. Now, the reason why I'm going into these things is to show you that, to me, the whole COVID-19 thing is one big ritual, okay? To get you to give up your rights, to get you to give up your freedom, and to get you to submit to a dominant source, right? This is just to get you to submit everything with the false feeling of security. Okay? Now, pay attention to these words and their meaning, because they all going to go back into something with dealing with division, separation, and submission. Okay? Underlay. Old English. Under ligon. To be subordinate, to submit to. See, on the line. Meaning to lie under or beneath is attested from. Figurative sense of to be the basis of is attested. Let's see if there's any more to that definition. No. Okay. Let's go back to underline. That's it. Now, when you come back here, we could try another dictionary. Let's try another dictionary. Let's try Webster's Dictionary. Merriam-Webster's Dictionary. Let's see. Why is it moving so slow? Let's see what happens. Okay. Underlying. Lying beneath or below. The underlying rock is shale. Evident only on close inspection. Anterior and prior incline. Of or being present in deep structure. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. All right. So now, when we go back to this here, when they're talking about the underlying conditions and the under, all right. So when it's saying, hey, here, 2,727 had COVID-19 listed as an underlying or contributing cause of death on the death certificate. Now, it could have been the flu, but because the flu and COVID-19 have similar symptoms, they just attributed it to COVID-19. They just said, fuck it, it's COVID. And they gave it to COVID and not the flu. You know why? Because all these industries are in cahoots together. Remember, for the past 10, 15 years, they have been a major push for organic treatment. There's been a major push to legalize what they call marijuana, to legalize certain herbalistic treatments that pretty much cures, heals, or stop the symptoms of stop the ailments of certain things. Okay? What does that mean for the pharmaceutical industry? Majority of these plants are still controlled by the native man and woman around the world. So they're not going to make a profit off of it like how they would like. Their whole thing is to shut it down, right? Shut it down, GMO the seeds, where they crossbreed two plants, create their own seed, and they get rid of the original. And the only thing that's out there is a seed that they created from the crossbreeding of those two plants. So they put a trademark and patent on that seed. Now they control the plant. You understand? This is how they started controlling nature. And man is not supposed to control nature. Man is not supposed to own nature. Man is just supposed to live in harmony with nature. You understand? So when you see majority of people started waking up and started thinking, eat healthy, be healthy, go back to the herbs, the plants, right? Companies, corporations like the CDC and these things that only push big pharmaceutical drugs, they're going to lose. They're going to lose, and their investors are going to lose out. Mind you, you live in a world where these folks who invest or owns big pharma, they don't believe that you, the average man and woman, is supposed to own or profit or even have any form of longevity off of anything that nature provides. They're anti-nature. Okay? Majority of them are atheists that pretends to have a religion because majority of the people in the world are religious. So an atheist can't come and tell them shit about what to do with their physical health, with their body, with their loved ones, and these things. You don't believe in a higher source. You're an atheist. Can't tell me nothing. You understand? This is why the attacks on the churches. And if people don't understand, church and state is separate. The church is a separate jurisdiction from any state, from any corporate government. They have no ruling, no saying over the church. But because the people that goes to the churches are illiterate or ignorant of facts, they submit and give up those rights. and put themselves underneath the corporation's jurisdiction. Okay? When you hear a pastor tell a police officer, you have no right to be here, that I'm in charge of these people here, as long as they're here in this building, they are under my care, and you are to leave. That officer is supposed to leave. It doesn't matter what's going on outside the church because they have no jurisdiction. The church falls under the Vatican. The Vatican is a state on its own. It's sovereign. Do you understand? They have no say-so. None. But this is what it comes down to. The consolidating of the world's resources and the stripping of everything that is natural, organic, and the stripping of your rights, of your freedom, of your humanity, of your interaction with each other. You understand? To separate you, split you apart, to put you in a sense, a state of mind where they want you to get into the state of mind where you control and own nothing, but you're happy that someone else gobbled up everything, controls everything, and you are to ask them for use of these things. You understand? You put yourself in slavery. You put yourself in servitude of someone else that can't say yes or no to your fundamental rights. Simple as that. Just to go ahead and get your face scanned at the grocery store with a temperature gauge, that's against the law. Do you know that? Had someone tell me, because someone told me, oh, they know 23 people that died in a community because of COVID. And I said, I don't even want the people names. Just give me the area. Give me the community that these 23 people died, and I'll go look up the people. I'll get their names and the medical records. Then the person's going to come back and say, oh, medical records ought to be private. But mother effer, if you're going to a supermarket and they're scanning your temperature, and you have to show also a certificate that you've been vaccinated for COVID, and then you have to show documentations that you've been tested for COVID. Not only that, you have to show now overall with your real ID that you are clean, you have a clean bill of health, and you have no underlying ailments or illnesses whatsoever before they let you in the supermarket. That means your medical information then became public to that store clerk, that security guard at the doorway. It's public. Period. They've already started this in Israel and in those countries over there in the Middle East. Okay? So what about the people? Now, if you keep in mind, the real indigenous man and woman, right? They cannot impose these things on them. But what about what if they do depend on grocery stores? They live in areas where they have to go to a grocery store. That means now they're going to either have to conform or find some way to feed their family. Do you understand? So it's to make life as difficult for you as possible, for you to cave in. If you repeat it enough, it deems to be true. So the saying say, even though it's not a true statement. You repeat a lie enough and people think that it's true. But people are too lazy to go really look to see if it's a lie. Okay? Where are we? Weekly mortality surveillance data includes a combination of machine-coded and manually coded causes of death collected from death certificates prior to week 4. Now, remember last year when doctors was coming out telling you that the hospital boards wanted them to put COVID-19 as the cause of death on their patients' death certificates. And the doctors was like, no, they're not going to do that because that's not what killed their patient. And if you go and you research, you'll see that over 1.4, damn near 2 million medical workers were laid off. And still this year, they're still laying off medical workers. And the reason why they're also laying off medical workers is because they have a position where they're hiring people for a temporary position to administer vaccines. So within 3 months, you stand to make $90,000 to $130,000 in 3 months. But there's a contract with that. So if the news cameras come in front of your face, you better perform. You better perform, or else you're not getting that money and you're getting laid off. Okay? So even though they claim there's a shortage of medical workers, but they're still firing medical workers still to this day. Still firing them. Who does that in this pandemic where the numbers have supposedly skyrocketed again? Let me give you guys a link to this. All right. There it goes in the chat. Which one now? Should we go to this? Now here we have again, this is the CDC. This is the CDC. Okay. Now also when they're saying underlying, it can mean anything. Okay. They said that COVID is also a rotavirus. Cancer is a rotavirus. This is why when I say to folks, cancer is also a coronavirus, right? When they say COVID is a new coronavirus, that's like saying, well, there's a new flu, but they still have the same symptoms. You see what I'm saying? As the original, right? Anyway, this is a summary of 2017-2018 influenza season. All right. What was 2017-2018 flu season like? Excuse me. The 2017-2018 influenza season was a high severity season with high levels of outpatient clinic and emergency department visits for influenza-like illness. Again, there you go, the like illness again, right there, right? Now here you have high influenza-related hospitalization rates and elevated and geographically widespread influenza activity for an extended period. In 2017, CDC began using new methodology to classify seasonal severity and applied the methodology to the 2003-2004 through 2016-2017 season. The 2017 to 2018 season was the first season to be classified as a high severity across all age groups. And that just went out the window in 2019. COVID took over in 2019, but you didn't know about it. There was no mention of COVID in 2019 to the public on a large scale. They just dropped it in a little newspaper here, in a little corner there, for over 60-something years. And you didn't even know about this coronavirus. That's been around since 1962, that they made public in 1962. Because it's hundreds, thousands of different forms of coronaviruses. And it's because of the fact that when Dr. Judah Mikovits came out, and if you did your research, you'll see that for years they've been pumping viruses into the animals that you eat. into the animals that you eat. Cows, chickens, pigeons. People eat pigeons. People eat dogs. People eat monkeys. Bats, rats. People eat these things. Super Slide, thank you, brother. Thank you. So when you're hearing now today, oh, but how's it? Where are we getting it from? And where's it coming from? You've been eating it for years. For years. Your mama ate it. Your mama ate it. Your mama's mama ate it. Your mama's mama ate it. And so on and so on and so on. And your DNA became contaminated. Now here comes now these herbalistic doctors that became popular in the mainstream and telling you to detox and flush your system and how long a virus can last in your body, or how long a jacked up vaccine can last in your body, or how to break down the timing of how long it lasts in your body to get it out of your body. You understand? And these doctors came along and they were showing you tribalistic ways of how to heal oneself. And all of a sudden, these doctors started dropping off the scale. Bloop, 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 bloop. They were being killed. Started getting murdered from left to right. Over 200 of them in 1 year. Started teaching you how to reset back your DNA, your immune system, how to boost it back up. Right? And now you've been thrown back. I've seen the most supposed pro-black person that will tell you about the Tuskegee experiment, what they did in the Congos, how they used the whole Ebola thing to experiment on Africans, and it was the vaccines that was really killing people by the millions out there, rocking their mask right now today. Didn't even know that if you boil garlic, thoroughly boil garlic with the shell on it, to the water is almost at its bare minimum, to where it's more potent, and you drink that, that it flushes out damn near any bacteria that's in the system. That it's also a natural antibiotic for any form of infections. Yes, sir. Blake H, thank you. These things. How do you treat respiratory infections? You can use garlic or citrus, lemon, lime. You used to go to the store back in the day. You cut open a green lime that people call a key lime, and you see seeds in it. You cut it open now today, you don't see no seeds in them. You see no seed in the key lime. None. And the potency of it has been diminished to being weak. You understand? These are natural antibiotics. Natural things that also cut fat and cut mucus. Because mucus is where viruses and bacteria stays built up in. That's where they live. Rum that is over 75, 80, 95% proof kills any form of bacteria. And they told you stay out of the bars. Stay out of the liquor stores. Sea salt. They told you stay away from the beach, but sea salt is one of the ingredients in the Pfizer vaccine. Oh boy. Like, people, it's about the strength of your mind. You can sit here and have someone tell you something all day, but if you don't go research and look into it, whatever happens, it's not going to be on them. It's going to be on you, because you have to pay attention to how these people talk. One of the oldest 60-minute interviews that Fauci did on mask, He told you that the shit don't work. He told you. But it's on you. When they first started saying it's a requirement to wear the mask. What was the word that they used? We require, that they require that you put on a mask. People started misinterpreting it as it's law, you have to. But no, they require, meaning that it was always your choice if you chose to put on a mask. So if I'm on a boat with 100 people and I understand what the word require means on that sign, and I choose not to put it on, the other 99 people going, oh, you got to put your mask on. And they ran and they made a complaint on me, called the cops. The cop says I'm causing a disturbance, and I've been arrested. Right? I've been wrongfully arrested, kidnapped, because that's not even an arrestable offense. You understand? Oh, and it's law. But the cop now is telling you that it's law, but you know that require doesn't mean that it's law. It means that it's up to you. It's your choice. It's a question. Require is literally a question. Do you want to wear a mask? My answer is no. Your answer is yes. If I'm not wearing it and you're wearing it and you feel safe and secure, why are you worried about me not wearing it? But you're not wearing a glove. So if I touch the railing and you touch the railing, you're not wearing a glove. You see what I'm saying? You got pores in your skin, right? Everything seeps and soaks through your skin, through the pores in your skin. Okay? They cannot mandate or make it mandatory neither. They just threw those words out there. And you got to watch how they use the words too, because they're not saying that we're making you do this because it's against the law for them to do that. But they know that the average man and woman, again, is ignorant when it comes to law, when it comes to the proper usage of words and these things, when it comes to what these words mean. So the very few that understands what's happening, when they break it down to you, you look at them like they're crazy, like they're being defiant and rebellious. Why can't you just do what they say? Even though we know that it's not right, why can't you just do it? You're just going in the store. Once you get what you want, you could just take the mask off. You understand? Submission, man. It's all about submission. I don't wear no mask. Nowhere that I go. Nowhere. And if I have to do it out, I'll do it out. Because I'm not doing it. Especially where they say that they're going off of the OSHA guidelines, but the OSHA guidelines let you know that it's supposed to be worn in work environment, construction work, medical work, okay? And that it doesn't protect against viruses. It don't. And that if you wear it for over an extended period of time, it causes respiratory damage. And that it's a oxygen level that you're supposed to be at in order to wear that mask. And if you're not at that level while you have the mask on, it will cause, again, respiratory damages. Everybody that's been pushing this COVID thing knows this. But they didn't tell you. Because if they told you that, see, they tell you some and they hold back some. But it was your job to go look up the rest that they didn't tell you. So that you can make a clear decision on your own without any influence. Okay? Sister Amina, thank you. Thank you, sis. So now here you have, when did the 2017-2018 flu season peak? During 2017-2018 season, influenza-like illness activity began to increase in November, reaching an extended period of high activity during January and February nationally, and remained elevated through the end of March. Peaked at 7.5%, the highest percentage since 2009 flu pandemic, which peaked at 7.7%. Influenza-like illness, not influenza illness, influenza-like illness. That means it probably wasn't even the flu. Do you understand? It probably wasn't even the flu. It's like, hey, do you like her? Well, I kind of like her. Hey, do you like her? Yeah, I like her. You see the big difference? I kind of like her. Yeah, I like her. Flu-like illness, flu illness. Or the flu. You see what I'm saying? Stop letting people play with words with you and mess with your head. Okay? Flu-like, influenza-like illness was at or above the national baseline for 19 weeks, making the 2017-2018 season one of the longest in recent years. This was in 2018, people. Now, this is the reason why I'm also putting up the Stanley Plotkin deposition on the podcast, and I have 1 through 4 already, because that took place in 2018. And in 2018, he said they already have a brand new flu vaccine. In 2018, he said that, but it hadn't been released yet. And then boom, here comes 2019, and you're living your best life. And boom, here comes 2020, and it told you, hey, we had a viral outbreak in 2019 called COVID-19. Oh, but it's 2020. But hey, 6 months down the road, we already have the COVID vaccine ready for you. But in 2018, Stanley Plotkin said that they already had a brand new flu vaccine sitting there waiting. And here in 2020, because we skipped 2019 because you wasn't told about no COVID in 2019. You was told about COVID in 2020 when it was election year in majority of the countries all over the world. And a lot of corrupt leaders was feeling to be outed. And they used the state of emergency to shut it down. And a lot of corrupt people came back in office. You can't make this stuff up, family. You can't make this stuff up. I'm going to give you guys the link to this article also. The CDC, all information is public, people. And even if there's some things that you know is supposed to be on this site and it's not there, you could put in a FOIA, all right? And it's 2 things that can happen. They'll give it to you right away, or B, they will give you the runaround. But they're not telling you no. They're just giving you the runaround and seeing how long, you'll wait you out. They'll try to wait you out, okay? Let me give you guys a link. There you go. All right. Now, let me close out this. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. So I'm going to show y'all a conflict of interest. All right. Let's start with this one. Oh, man. Let's start with this one. I'm about to hit back the screen share right now. And I'm going to give you guys the link to this too also as well. All right. Oh, man. Sad. So here we go. This is cdc.gov about an ethics PDF, CDC, okay, list of global companies with ongoing government activity. Okay, these are companies that the CDC deals with, all right, or are partnered with, all right, around the world. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention because y'all think this is a joke. So when we're saying that mainstream media is purposely misleading you because they're all in the same boat together, they're all in the same boat together. Understand this. So if you go against the grain, they're all going to gang up on you, and it's their job to make you look incompetent in the eyes of the public, to make you look crazy in the eyes of the public, even though you're trying to warn the public. Okay? I'm going to give you guys this link to this PDF. All right? You got RNF Imagining Systems Inc., RNK, KMBH, R&R, Lotion Inc., Rad Teb Company, RA Interchem Private Limited, R and Herbal Research Center, R Base Technologies Inc., RCM Pharmacy, RD Drug House, RD Fine Chem, RD Sports Company, R Franchise, what's this? Franceschini, Herbal Healthy Food Bazaar, Pharmaceutical Corp, Ishard Me, and these are can't pronounce some of these different languages. RJ Herbals, RJS Direct Marketing Inc., RK Agrawal Office, RK Ayurvedic Herbal Food Products, and the list goes on and on. It's 29. It's about 29 pages. All right, I'm going to give you guys a link to this one, and there's more coming. Okay, there's a link right there in chat, and let's keep it going. Let's see what else is on here. Ram Pharmaceutical Industries, Herbal Private Limited. See, they're trying to get into the organic herbal business. Pay attention, man. Pharma Medicine Industrial, Pharmaceutical Industry, Sula C. Ayurvedic. Oh, man. More pharmaceutical. Romney Pharmaceuticals. Right? And you can't make this stuff up. I'm going to put this link again one more time in the chat for you guys. All right? Let's close that one out. Let me stop screen share here. I'm going to pull up the next one. Give me a second. Oh, where is it? Let's see if this is it. Let's see. Is that? What is this? Oh, let me share some. Let me share this with you before we go into the next one. Okay, let's screen share back this. Give you guys a link to this too as well. So now, here we go. I'm gonna give you. This is cdcagain.gov. Prevent vaccine supply distribution. Right. Copy this. Okay. Seasonal influenza vaccine and supply distribution. Now, influenza viruses change from year to year. So influenza vaccines must be updated annually. So every year they're giving you a new vaccine. Because every year they're saying that the flu virus is so smart that it morphs into something else every year. And here you have this COVID with the flu-like symptoms. Influenza viruses change from year to year. So influenza vaccines must be updated annually to include the viruses that will most likely circulate in the upcoming flu season. So they already know. They're saying they already know that what the virus is going to be next year. So they already have something made and prepared for that virus when it comes out next year. They already know what it's going to be. They already know. Right? All right, in the upcoming season, once the viruses are selected for the new formulation, private manufacturers produce, test, and distribute influenza vaccine. So the private company makes the vaccine, the private company tests the vaccine, and the private company distribute the vaccine. Do you know what that is? That's a major conflict of interest. Because if I'm a private company and I'm testing my own product and I'm releasing my own product, no one else is testing it, but I'm testing my own stuff and I'm telling you, man, it works. It's good. It's good. Go ahead. Shoot up. Go ahead. That shit is good. It's good. Like that? Okay. Yeah. And 2 weeks later, you drop dead. You drop dead from the product because the person that created it told you, yeah, it's good. The same person that created it and the same person that's putting it up for sale created it to make a profit, told you that it's good. Now, let's just skip down. Table of 2020, 2021, influenza vaccine, total doses distributed. 2nd, 26, 2021. So in February 26, 2021, total doses distributed was 93.8 million doses for the flu vaccine. But you don't hear no mention of the flu. How do you release over 993 million vaccines for the flu and you don't hear no mention of it? None. 2nd 12, 2021, 193.7. 2nd 5, 2021, 193.6. These are millions. And keep going down to the first, going down into 2020. Now, watch this. 8/14/2020 was 13.7 million. 8/21/2020, it was 21.8 million. This is where they tampered with the numbers to make the COVID numbers seem higher. Okay? This is where what they did, because they said because COVID is out right now, the flu just took a vacation. It seems like the flu took a vacation, and the mother effer just said, yo, you know what, COVID, you got this shit, man. I quit. I'm retired. You got it. Right? Yo, they love messing with y'all. And this was the election year. Because they had to skyrocket the COVID numbers. Here you got 9/4/2020, 47.6, and it just kept going up. You saw they trickled it slowly to go up. Then you got 9/25/2020, 105.5 million. Then 10/2/2020, 124.2 million. And then kept going to 10/23/2020, 164.7 million doses. And it just kept going up. And here you are in now 2021, and it's at 193.8 million doses of the goddamn flu vaccine that's been given out. But you hear no mentions of the flu. Everything is COVID. Wake up, people. This is a business. This is like the biggest scam business in the world. Okay? I don't know if I gave you guys a link, but let me give you guys a link to this as well. There's a link. right there. And all right, let me close that out. And give me a second here. Let's go into my next document. Okay. CDC Foundation. Together, our impact is greater. Now, CDC. CDCFoundation.org. Partner list corporations. These are corporations that they're partners with. Okay? Pay attention, people. Rainstorm on a Lacona on a big up, brother. Big up. All right. Now watch this. These are companies that they're partners with. Show you. Abbott Ireland, Abbott Laboratories, 360 Think Ltd, 3M. If you don't know what 3M is, it's the paint the company that makes the painter's tape. Okay? To show you. What does that have to do with anything? Home Depot, the big box stores. Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart. Those big box stores that tell you, oh, you got to wear a mask when you come in. And they shut down the mom and pop stores. They shut down the small businesses and kept the big box stores open because they're partners, business partners. And they use those stores to enforce their draconian, unlawful policies on you. Say you have to wear a mask before you come in, or else we're going to trespass you. You can't come back here no more. Okay? 3M Pharmaceuticals. 3M also has pharmaceuticals. Okay? Biodisc, Abbott Laboratories, AbbVie Inc., Academic Press, Accenture, Ace Construction Group, Ace Hardware Store. Come on, man. Come on. Acme Cargo Express, Singapore, Action Sprout, Addis International, Adobe. Advanced Star Communications, Advantage Healthcare Inc., Aetna, that's the insurance company, Affimedics, Aflac. What? The CDC is partners with these companies. Huh? You can't make this stuff up. Liberty Mutual, the Leader Publishing Group, Inc., the law offices of Kevin D. McDonough, law offices of Edwin Marger, Land Yacht Harbor of Melbourne Airstream Park, Laddon, Laburnum Diagnostics Imaging Association, Laboratory Corporation of America Holdings. It's a holding company. Laboratory Alliance of Central New York, Chris International LLC, KPMG International, Kohl's Corporation, another big box, Kohl's, another big box store. Okay, Null AG. Let me. Where's the H? Let me see, side. What is this? American Academy Allergy, the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. People, AT&T Corp, AT&T Georgia. Bayer, Another big pharma, right? Let's see if Johnson & Johnson is on here. Let's go. Let's see. Jensen Scientific Affairs. Johnson & Johnson is on here. Let's see if Pfizer is on here. Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer will be over here. You can't make this shit up. Let's see Pfizer. Let's see PPP. Penchu. PayPal is also on here. CDC's partners with PayPal. Penn Treaty Kennel Club. Wow. Oh, Pfizer Inc. CDC's partners with Pfizer. That's a conflict of interest. You can't be a partner of the goddamn company that's supposedly making this vaccine. Huh? That's a conflict of interest. And again, go on the podcast and listen to. I have 4 parts so far on there of the Stanley Plotkin disposition. And the man, he's dropping everything to you from 2018. He's not dropping it to you to make you aware. It's just a sheer ignorance because he's cocky like that, because he knows that nothing is going to happen to him. So he could just talk the talk. Okay? You can't make this stuff up. It is. Oxford University. Now, Oxford Immunotech. Oxford University. I wonder if... Is it Oxford? Oh, so Oxford... Yeah, remember the 10,000 page file that I have on the coronavirus from the creation of the virus to up to present day? I have on it the university that was testing the virus in the 1960s was Oxford University. All up on those documents. The scientists that was studying and working at Oxford. They're testing patients that they were testing out. They're testing these things on, and put them back and put these people back out into the public. Yo, you cannot make this stuff up. Okay. Onyx Pharmaceuticals. Come on, man. Look, people. Nike Inc. Nike. What else is on here? Moe's Pizza. Moe's Pizza is on here. These are all conflicts of interest. I don't care if they even donated to the CDC. It's a conflict of interest. Once they've received funding from them, it becomes now a conflict of interest. You understand? Metro Foods. Mercer. Let's see. Medical Economics. Medical Marketing Research International. I'm telling you, this is one big ritual of submissiveness. Right? I don't see Moderna on here. Maybe I probably missed it. Did I? Mercer. No, I don't see it on here. Well, look, we can't make this stuff up. Let me give you guys a link to this. Do I have one more? Let me see if I have one more. There you go. Sister Cherokee Tulu, honor, sis. Honor. We can't make this stuff up, man. So now, if you don't see some companies on here, Then what you do now, you start looking into these companies and see if they have any ties to any of these major news outlets, Microsoft, these things. And you're going to be surprised. You're going to see it, that they do. That they do. Okay? You can't. Atlanta Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Coca-Cola. Bavarian Nordic. I already said Bayer, Bayer AG, Bayer Corporation, Bayer US LLC, Bell South Telecommunications, Bell South Corporation. Yeah. Bristol Myers. Wow. Caribbean Travel Medicine Clinic. For those who don't understand why they're going to the islands the way how they're doing and shutting down the islands, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock curfew. Oh, the death rate has spiked of COVID. And half those nurses are incompetent of treating your family member. And because they limited access to your family member, you can't even see what they're doing. And in some of these islands, the nurses, the medical staffs are the worst. They treat you like shit. And if they're getting too tired of treating you or taking care of you, you mysteriously die while in their care. Okay? Yo, Cisco Systems, CTI, that's the bank, right? CNN, Time Warner. CNN and Time Warner is also on here as partners for the CDC. Huh? The Coca-Cola Company, Columbia Management, Commonwealth Radiology. Found me, look. CDC and or Time Warner. Not CDC, CNN and or Time Warner. See, there you go. Highlighted it for y'all right there. Right there. Some major players. Costco, another big box store. Okay? Cicero, which is the livestock industries. CVR, CVS Caremark Annual Giving Campaign. Delta Airlines, Delta Development, Delta Staffing, Disney World Service. This is why the airlines are, oh yeah, we have to make this mandate and these restrictions. They're all the same people. All the same people. ET Enterprise. What Enterprise is. Look, man. Fidelity. Ford Motor. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. And they put it out there in the public. General Electric Company. Okay, General Motors. You can't. You can't make this stuff up. It's right there. It's right there. That's it. IBM. I wonder. What was saying? I wonder if it's on this list. I did not check for it. Let me check and see if it's on here. If it's on here. It's Nike, North Star. Again. It is Microsoft Corporation. It's partners with the CDC. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Microsoft. Who owns Microsoft? Bill Gates. Who's the population controllers? Bill Gates. Who believes in population control? Bill Gates. There you go. Microsoft. Microsoft is on there. This is crazy. McDonald's is on here. McDonald's Corporation. There you go right there, McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Let me give you guys back the link again for this. Okay. Close that out. There goes the link. Macadon 1, Christy Joy, Anna. All right. Now, hold on. Let me see if I had anything else before we wrap this. Okay, we did that. We did that. Let's see what this is. Okay, yeah, we did that too. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. Let's see. Gotta be thorough, make sure. Yep, that was it. I gave y'all everything. That's it. All right. Yeah. So, family, like, it's not. We can't make this stuff up, family. You know, it is what it is. It's right. It's right in our faces. It's right in our faces. Right. Hold on. What's that? Media release? What is it? Okay. Hold on. Let me see if let me click on it here. Okay. All right. Let me hold on. I'll try to. Let me. CDC.gov releases 2017, 2018. All right. I think I did that. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Give me a sec. Let me see what it's saying. CDC to award over $560 million to state and local jurisdictions in support of COVID. Ha! They're bribing. COVID-19 response. The Department of Health and Human Service is announcing another upcoming action by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention to provide resources to state and local jurisdiction in support of our nation's response to coronavirus disease 2019. But they told you about it in 2020 when it was an election year. They made no mentions of it in 2019. I'm going to keep saying that. State and local health department are on the front lines of responding to the COVID-19 outbreak, and we are deeply grateful for their work, said HHS Secretary Alex Azar. CDC is distributing this new funding extremely rapidly, as called by the Congress. President Trump and his entire administration will continue working to ensure state and local jurisdictions have the resources they need to keep Americans safe and healthy. Our state, local, tribal, and territorial public health partners are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response. Let me tell you something. The reason why those ones are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response is because the reservations are ran and controlled by the state. That's it. They're federally controlled, the reservations. Okay? There's no sovereignty there. They're controlled. If the state decide they're going to come in and shut shit down, they're going to shut it down. All right? Because they contracted with the state. Oh gosh. Our state, local, and tribal territorial public health partners are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response. The action we are taking today will continue to support their efforts to increase public health capacity where it's needed most, said CDC Director Robert R. Redfield, MD. This is I warn y'all about this man. These funds will allow public health leaders to implement critical steps necessary to contain and mitigate spread of the virus in communities across the country. Now they're talking about, they're speaking today in the House about the $1.9 trillion bill, COVID release bill. All that is just one big bribery package. That's all it is. Okay? That's all it is. You don't need a $1.9 trillion bill to go for these private companies to make the vaccines and distribute it. So what? The private companies are making the vaccines. The government is buying it from the private companies. That's the only way I could see that. And they're charging them a shitload of money. But if the government, who is the government? Who is the man and the woman called the government that's buying this? Members of Congress are buying it. Members of the Senate are buying it. The presidency are buying it. Now, these members of Congress and Senate, what businesses are they invested in? What businesses do they have outside of their capacity as a senator and a congressman? Like Joe Biden and his family, they have other corporations that they own, businesses that they own, companies that they've worked for before he was president. You understand? What are their investments? What corporations have they invested in? Who invested in them? Who gave them money when they were running for their election to fund their campaigns? People don't ask these questions, right? Yeah, you put another link in the chat, I believe. Let me go back and see if I see that one as well. I think this is it. Let's see. Okay, no, I just read that one. Where is it? I think this is it. Give me 1 sec. Is this? Okay. All right. If you guys cannot hear me, I believe they're tampering with my signal. On the StreamYard, it says that the signal is very low, but on my laptop, it's showing me that my internet is at full blast. Okay. So there you go. They're now jamming the signal jam. Okay, so this now that this other thing that Brother Q sent. 77 million dedicated to combat existing and emerging antibiotic resistance. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has awarded more than 200 million through the epidemiology and laboratory capacity for infectious diseases. cooperative agreement to help states, cities, countries, and territories prevent, detect, respond to, and control the growing threats posed by emerging and re-emergent infectious diseases. And re-emergent, so that means a disease that I'm going to take a 3 to 5 year hiatus vacation, and when this new virus starts getting played out, I'm just going to pop back up again. Go ahead, COVID. You got it this year. You got it for the next 5 years, COVID. You got it. All right, influenza. Just let me know when you're coming back, my niecey. Okay, no problem. You know, we got to share this. You know what I mean? Okay, so for emergent and re-emergent infectious diseases, state programs are the foundation of the U.S. public health system and are integral to the nation's efforts to combat infectious disease threats. CDC and states work together to improve local surveillance, laboratory, diagnostic capabilities, and outbreak response. The Centers of Disease Control and Prevention has awarded more than $200 million through the epidemiology and laboratory capacity for infectious diseases. Cooperative agreement to help states, cities, countries, and territories prevent, detect, respond to, and control the growing threats posed by emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases. Yo, man, you can't make this up. Yeah, they started chopping up the connection, right? They started chopping it up, but yeah, you can't make it up. Q, just redrop back both links in the chat before I cut this. All right, just redrop both links right back in the chat. Right. Like, family, man, it's this information is not private, it's public. It's if you care enough about what's going on in the world and going on with your body, what are you giving up power jurisdiction to when it comes to your body? Right? What are you having these people do with your body? Right? Do you care enough to go study, to go research, to take a stand and say no? Not my body. No, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. No. Here you are in the height of an economical reset going on in front of your face, and to keep you distracted and to set you back so that you cannot capitalize on this economical reset, because a lot of people was feeling to be rich, filthy, dirty rich, especially a lot of small businesses, and they made you shut down yourself by using intimidating tactics and speech. Made you make that decision to shut yourself down. At one point, Governor Cuomo was using the policy officers of New York City, New York State, to go around and kick people faces in the projects and business owners to ticket them and shut them down. And people didn't question, hey, the police can't come into my establishment and ticket my establishment. What is going on here? And then you become afraid because if you didn't take the ticket, they slapped them handcuffs on you. And it's not registering to you that, well, that's also unlawful and that's kidnapping, but you're afraid. So you submit to it and you gave them jurisdiction. So now every time they see that you have a certain amount of customers in your business, they come and they mess with you. Because more than half the business owners didn't take a stand because you're that paranoid. Also in your head, you fell for the COVID-19 scamdemic. Right? And then you made them tell you that your business is non-essential, even though that's the means that you use to feed yourself and your family. Of course it's essential. If I was the shoe shine guy on the street corner, and that's how I feed my family and myself, that's essential. There's no such thing as a non-essential business. But what they did was too many entrepreneurs is coming up. Too many people started wanting to be independent, so they had to set you back. But the ones with this type of mindset and knows the information, they're the ones that made it out. But the majority that don't know this information, they're the ones that's going to be in the heat for the next 10, 20, 30 years and got their businesses shut down. They don't hide this information from you. It's all public. And you can put in a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, to get whatever information you want. The CDC likes to try to ignore you when you put in a FOIA, or they'll tell you yes, and they'll stall you out for months, weeks, months. Some people got stalled out for years, right? But you have to know steps to take to make them give you those documentations. And while this COVID, this supposed COVID was going on, you understand? They shut down the halls of records. They shut down the libraries. Anywhere that you could have went to go pull up certain information. The public records office, the county clerk office, these things got shut down, and they started passing bills to make judges immune to certain things. There's a lot of corrupt. First of all, over 90% of what you call courthouses are not courthouses. They're banksters. They're banksters. Okay, there's very few actual courthouses in America. Very few, probably less than a handful. But the average man and woman wouldn't know these things. And the job was to keep you in debt or make you feel as if you were in debt. Okay, Brother Q, thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So, people, when you were brought here to this realm, this world, you were given all the tools that you needed to secure and treat oneself. And if you didn't know how to do it to a certain extent, someone else out there that took time to master the herbs and these things, how to identify symptoms in these things. I advise everyone to at least take some course to know how to go back to treating yourself before the hospitals are supposed to be your last measure. In my opinion, I'm not telling you that you have to go do that. In my opinion, the hospitals are supposed to be the last measure if you, for a fact, don't know what's wrong with you and can't treat whatever your ailments or your symptoms are yourself. Then you go to the hospitals. Right? Take some courses, get certified, with these things. Learn. Because that's also what's killing people today. A lot of people don't know how to treat or take care of themselves, so anybody can come tell them any foolishness, and they fall for it, and you're being given wrong treatment. Okay? Regular detoxing is great for the body. Regular detoxing. What happens if you buy a car and you never change the oil? It's a lot of things is going to start breaking down on you. Stop working. That car is going to be jacked up. But if you buy a car and you make it your regular duty to change the oil in a timely manner, to keep underneath the hood clean, to make sure that, the brake pads are changed promptly when they're supposed to be changed, the rotors, all these things, that everything is well greased how it's supposed to be and running and moving how it's supposed to be. Even when that car hits 200,000 miles, that car will still drive as if you just took it off the lot. That same goes for your body. Detoxing is great for the body when you detox in a timely manner when you're supposed to. Okay? So with that being said, y'all, I thank you all. I thank everyone for the donation that you guys donated. It was much appreciated. Much appreciated. I really thank you all. I thank everyone for joining in, for being here. Again, let me give you guys a link to the podcast so that you guys can check out the Stanley Plotkin deposition. All right. I so far have 4. Every Monday, I'll do an upload of 2 episodes. So next Monday, I'll upload 5 and 6, okay, of Stanley Plotkin. And then after that, we're going to drop the vaccinicide. All right. Or should I call it scamdemic? Right. We're going to drop that. Okay. But I want you guys to get familiarized with Stanley Plotkin disposition, right? Because it's important. It's important that you guys understand what it is that you guys are looking at. Okay. And what it is, the breakdown that I'm going to give. It was a lot of things said in his disposition or deposition. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there's a lot of things said, and you guys need to take notes. All right. And he let you know that majority of his testings took place in the Congos. Okay. So just wake up, people. Wake up. Because you're in the belly of the beast. You're in it. Humanity is in it. The hearts and the minds of people are in it. And it is to entrap you in it, so that you won't no longer be a free thinker wanting to go research and look up things on your own. Okay? That someone just comes and tell you something and you take it for word matter right there and you run with it because you felt they did the research for you. No, go do that research. You'll see Stanley Plotkin will tell you exactly how these things are broken down. Like Pfizer and them will keep a meeting with the doctors, and they will tell them, "Hey, we tested the vaccine; it works just fine. Go give it to your patients. This is what's in it. This is what we put out in the public of what's in it. But then we have other things that we don't really put out there. But if they ask for it, these type of things." The doctors then go back to the nurses, break down to the nurses, but no one actually goes into the hospital laboratories and break down and pull apart that vaccine to see if it's good, if it's bad, what side effects it has. No one does that. Back in the day, something that used to be done, but it's no longer done. So when a nurse and a doctor is talking to you like they know about the vaccine, they don't know shit more than what the same company that made it told them. That's it. Okay? Ask any nurse right now today. Did you break down the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to see exactly how the human body or the human cells actually reacts to it? Did you get some blood samples or some things like that? Or do you have a test subject that you tested for a couple months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? No, they don't have these things. So then how could you inject that in my body and tell me it's good for me when you don't know yourself? It's a gamble. 50-50. Russian roulette. Actually, that's the real Russian roulette. Okay. Anyway, y'all, Mr. Nino 3 on a. I'm out of here, y'all. I thank you all. I pray that you guys have a safe and productive rest of your day, evening, afternoon, night, depending on the time zone that you are in. And, I just give many thanks to you guys and much love as again. And again, don't forget, check out the podcast, right? Put the link to the podcast in the chat. I'm going to put the link to the podcast at the top of the comment section also as well. And yeah, just thank you guys. Much love, much respect to you all. Peace.